This is the poison of deep grief. When sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. Shakespeare was right. When it rains, it pours. We have lately had deaths, shocks, and sorrows arrive at our door as a church community. We are deeply disturbed by the suddenness of the death of our sister Darlene Elwood this week. She had been diagnosed with a highly aggressive form of cancer just days before. Yesterday, we gathered with Phil and Denise and family and tried to start putting the pieces back together. And then in the same night of Darlene's passing, in almost the same breath, it seems, we were jarred by the terrible news of the death of Ross Fapp, husband of our dear Kitty Fapp. There's still so much to be known about that, a lot of things we might never fully understand. We know it is a situation to be covered in prayer. So it should be declared, this is a safe time and place. And we might remember that there are different ways to grieve and to process emotion. By now, I've done hundreds of funerals, and I've learned one thing for sure. We don't get to tell people how to grieve, and we don't get to give them a timetable. It comes how it comes, and it takes as long as it takes, and sometimes it lives with us until the end of our lives. Because people are complicated. We all contain multitudes. We might experience a range of feelings, or perhaps sometimes nothing in particular. We might cry or get angry or lose ourselves in sadness. Sometimes we'll want to jump in and help. Sometimes we'll just want to fade out or be quiet for a while. And of course, we might find ourselves asking why terrible things should be allowed to happen in this world, even though we know that there is no one simple answer that satisfies. What we do know is this: we need to be mutually supported in our faith at times like these, and we need to be mutually supportive of one another. We need to take care of ourselves and each other. And we need to look a little beyond ourselves if we can. Maybe touch that beautiful vision of hope and community that Jesus offers to us when he talks about being the good shepherd. You know, in any other time, preachers don't always know what to do with this business of Jesus claiming the title Good Shepherd. It's quite a thing for someone to say about themselves. It sits strange on the page, but then sometimes things happen, hard things, terrible things, individually and collectively. God have mercy. And the need for this vision comes racing up to us. No wonder we find ourselves turning to it in times of death. What does it really mean for us that Jesus Christ is the Good Shepherd? our good shepherd. And how does that speak into the sense of loss and pain we might be feeling? I submit to you Jesus' own actions and words from the run-up to today's gospel. He has just healed a man who'd been blind for his whole life, restored his vision. He spat on the ground, made some mud, put it over the man's eyes, told him to go and wash it off. And when he did, that man could see. But a miracle can quickly turn into a circus. And people with ideological axes to grind can show up out of nowhere. The healed man, his parents, the Pharisees, a big crowd of onlookers, and apparently somewhere in and among the crowd is Jesus himself, listening to the interrogation. And then begins the inquiry and the argument. They try to trap the man into defaming Jesus. They call him names and they accuse him of things, but he won't take their bait. He says, "Look, all I know is this. Before I couldn't see, and now I can. If you want to defame this guy, don't drag me into it. Let these lies be upon your own heads." And then Jesus re-enters the scene, says to the man, "Do you believe in the Son of God?" The man says, "Who is he? Tell me, so that I may believe in him." And Jesus says, recognizing what has just taken place, this great miracle, Jesus says, "You have now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you." And the man says, "Lord, I believe." And he worships him. I think that means he literally falls to the ground in front of Jesus and worships him. In this tender moment, Pharisees push back. There's a heated exchange of words, and then Jesus says to them, as if to finalize the argument, "Guys, give it up. You're guilty. You are guilty of neglecting this man. You didn't take care of him his entire life up to this minute. You just used him to try to get to me just now, so shame on you." And then he begins to develop this metaphor, the Good Shepherd, as if in distinction over and against the shepherds around him. The Good Shepherd appoints his life for the sheep. The Good Shepherd brings them back together when they are scattered or when the enemy comes and snatches them away. The Good Shepherd knows his sheep and his sheep know him. And then again he says, the Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. So you see and sense the strong protection, like a mother hen brooding over her chicks. Leave this man be. He has done nothing. I claim him. And so he says, "For this reason, the Father loves me, because I lay down my life in order to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. I have received this command from my Father. The divinely given power and authority of Jesus to lay down his life and take it up again. Isn't that a curious note? Isn't God already eternal? What use is it to go and die only to return from death? Of course, yes, it prefigures his own death and resurrection, but we might also add this, that he does not say it for his own benefit. It prefigures the human condition as well. He says it so that we get to hear it. We get to know a precious secret. In protecting us, he shepherds us through death as well as in life. On both sides of the veil, he is present. The end of the body is not the end of the Good Shepherd. There is no end to his protection and goodness and love. You know, in our burial rite, when the priest stands over the body at the graveside, there is an option for the priest to pray a prayer. It is a very, very old prayer. And it begins with these words: "In the midst of life, we are in death. From whom can we seek help? From you alone, O Lord." Consider those words. In the midst of life, we are in death. A stark reminder. Those words were written by Notker, a monk who lived in the 9th century. The legend goes that Notker was inspired to write those lines when he witnessed construction workers building a bridge. The bridge spanned a very deep chasm. The workers toiled seemingly without a thought for the peril that was always waiting just below them, should one of them slip or a piece of the bridge give way. In the midst of the fragility of life, truly, we are in death. And yet I would say the opposite is equally true. In the midst of death, we are also in life. For whether we live or die, it matters not. We are the Lord's possession. God holds our souls in life always. Always. Jesus Christ, the great shepherd of the sheep, will never, ever let us go. He loves us, protects us, knows us, and keeps us no matter what may befall us. His promise is true, and it is forever.